which is really nice.
Yeah. Where are you staying? Sorry.
We can scoot down.
Oh, they do? Really? Oh, that's beautiful.
Let's see how that looks. Hi.
How are you then?
Should we be saving this spot for Raymond or not? No.
We should either scoop one.
Oh, that's so good.
That's alright. Not working.
Where's Raymond?
That is a good question. Congratulations.
There he is. Yeah, what if Hamilton end up with Raymond next season?
I had the slightest idea.
Unpaid. Volunteer.
Speech.
Oh, big cut. Yeah, yeah.
What, closer? I'm like, yeah, maybe we could. Even closer? Well, I was
Nobody's gonna mind. That's a nice.
Bob's coming.
Yeah. Yes.
Are these reserved?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's not a problem. That's a dedicated attack aircraft, VA-10. I don't think it's got a bomber.
Then are you injected for it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
VA-10 is a sort of unusual concept.
You're getting closer to the launcher from the station.
It's very much like a fighter. It's like crazy maneuver. It's not supposed to fight for things in the air, which is called something on the ground. Yeah.
I know.
But they're really tough. They can take a lot of fire and keep flying. You basically just sit in a titanium bathtub while you're flying it. You're surrounded by, I think, like 10 to 12 centimeters of titanium armor all around you.
Oh, we're gonna hear all international in the coast.
Oh, that'd be fun. I like that.
We have the invocation. You know, the Argentine national anthem. They're both from the right. Oh yeah, Portugal.
Unfortunately, of the countries up there, the only countries I know are Germany, UK, and Italy. US, of course, too. I don't know the rest of them.
You know Canada?
Canada? Oh, Canada. I do know Canada. I don't know the rest of them. I don't know Denmark. Don't know Greece. That's Portugal. Don't know Spain.
Oh, you Spanish, I guess.
Oh,
Hard to learn for the whole meeting. Always good. jumping down. As you know. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NJET graduation for class 2405. The ceremony will begin in approximately 5 minutes. Please start making your way to your seats.
on the way there, which is nice, and then uphill on the way home, which is yes, yeah, and it's good. It's good the infrastructure stuff, the infrastructure as well. It's absolutely highlighted in the hospital. Yes, they're doing world's most yeah, well, terrible. Lots of scholars go on those.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Good evening and welcome. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Derek Colbath, the 80th OST Commander. On behalf of the 14 nations that are present, represent the Euro-NATO Joint Jet Pilot Training Program, thank you for being here. And now, the 80th Flying Training Wing proudly presents the Euro-NATO Joint Jet Pilot Training Class 2405.
Center. Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the entrance of the official party and the playing of the national anthems. Five national anthems will be played, recognizing student graduates from Canada, Germany, Portugal, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Feel free to sing the national anthems. Please remain standing for the playing of the national anthems and the invocation by Chaplain Francis.
Pump. Preset. Pump. glorie, azagas, sobre a terra e sobre o mar. As armas, pela pátria lutar, contra os canhões marchar, marchar. Right shoulder, huh. Colors. Colors turn. March.
Please join me for a moment of prayer. Father, thank you for raising up these leaders and warriors to serve, to protect, to defend your people. And I pray that you would continue to train their hands, fingers, hearts, and minds to do the jobs you've raised them up to do and uniquely gifted them to do. May they learn to seek after your wisdom and guidance in their daily decisions, and to lean on your grace and your mercy in their times of need. Lord, I give thanks for these pilots graduating tonight, and I ask that you would lead, guard, guide, and protect them. Bless them and keep them. Make your face to shine upon them. Be gracious to them. Look upon them with your favor, and grant them your peace. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Class 2405 would like to share with you a personalized look at their past year here at Shepherd.
congratulations. We want to thank you for taking the time to celebrate with us, whether in person or online.
Special thank you to all the supporting members who helped us get here today.
M1, 81st as 82nd Training Wing, our instructors, and mostly our families and friends. So, from the NJET Class 2405, the Jurassic Pilots, thank you!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Captain Andrew Golden, and I'm the Master of Ceremonies for this evening. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the graduation of Class 2405. Tonight, we celebrate their earning of pilot wings and the title of military pilot. Would the official party please join me on stage at this time? The 18 students of Class 2405 have been in training since April 2023. Today completes 55 weeks of intense flight training as they become the newest members of the elite corps of military pilots. Euro-NATO Joint Jet Pilot Training, or NJET for short, has graduated 200 pilots on average each year since the program's official inauguration in October of 1981. With Class 2405, the NJET program will graduate its 8,348th pilot for the NATO Alliance. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce the official party. Please hold your applause until the end. Our guest of honor and guest speaker, Group Captain R.G. Elliott, Commander 80th Flying Training Wing, Colonel Mitchell Koch, and his wife, Amber. Deputy Commander 80th Flying Training Wing, Colonel Ryan Serrell, and his wife, Chrissy. Commander 80th Operations Group, Colonel Jan Boystein, and his fiancée, Miss Katie August. Senior National Representative of Canada, Major Chris Malusnik, and his wife, Dr. Autumn Dunman. Senior National Representative of Germany, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Schill, and his wife, Nadine. Senior National Representative of Portugal, Major Rodolfo Silva, and his wife, Karina Neves. Senior National Representative of the United States, Major Doug Holland. Senior National Representative of the United Kingdom, Squadron Leader Guy Gibbons and his wife Rachel. And Chaplain 80th Flying Training Wing, Lieutenant Colonel Kelvin Francis. There are also several distinguished visitors in attendance tonight whom we'd like to recognize. Again, please hold your applause until the end. Commander German Air Force, TTC, USA, Colonel Frank Ortiz. On behalf of the Command Chief, 80th Flying Training Wing, Command Sergeant William Gruens. Mr. Glenn Burham, President of the Shepherd Military Affairs Committee, and his wife, Mary Lynn. Senior National Representative of Belgium, Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Bordati, his wife Sharon, and their children, Honora and Eden. Senior National Representative of Turkey, Major Kagri Erturk, his wife, Oyku, and their children, Darren and Mert. Representing the military, the United States Air Force wings awarded to all graduates tonight are provided by our country and sponsors, and are specifically authorized to be worn by all NJET graduates regardless of their nationality. We'd like to recognize our country and organizational sponsors in attendance this evening. Please hold your applause until the end. For Italy, Chairman of the NJET sponsors and NJET Hall of Fame members, Mr. John Ferguson and his wife, Mrs. Mary Ferguson. For Belgium, Mr. John Buckley and his wife, Susan. For Germany, representing the Junior League of Wichita Falls, Caitlin Levasseur. Sponsor liaison to Germany, Brandy and Robbie Ross. For Portugal, Mr. Victor Zardane and his wife, Diane. For the United Kingdom, Mr. David Clark. Also for the United Kingdom, Mr. Jeremy Melenkoff and his wife, Sarah. Additionally, to the Wichita Falls civic leaders, city councils, senior national representatives, commanders, award sponsors, and members of the Shepherd Military Affairs Committee, thank you for your support and your presence here tonight. We also thank each and every family member for their love and support during this challenging year-long endeavor. And now I'd like to introduce the Commander, 80th Flying Training Wing, Colonel Mitchell Cope. Sir, the floor is yours.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sheppard Air Force Base. Thank you for joining us on this important evening where we recognize the accomplishments of Class 2405, and we award wings to 18 of the newest pilots for the NATO Alliance. Before I turn over the microphone to our guest speaker tonight, I need to take a few moments to acknowledge the people and the teams who support the NJET program and offer a few comments of my own to our graduates. First, I need to thank our 82nd Training Wing partners. In addition to training half of the United States Air Force's enlisted airmen, they run the installation as our host. We are a tenant wing on this installation, and the 82nd provides us the support so we can focus on training pilots, instructors, and controllers. They fuel our aircraft, they maintain our facilities, they advocate for funding for our runway repair, they protect the base, and they provide medical, legal, and spiritual support. So thank you to Brigadier General Dietrich and his team, and to Lieutenant Colonel Matt Reed for representing them here tonight. Also, we receive incredible support from our community. I'd like to specifically thank Glenn Barham from the Sheppard Military Affairs Committee for attending tonight. We appreciate Wichita Falls, Burke Burnett, and the SMAC, Sheppard Military Affairs Committee, along with all the other civic leaders, for your ongoing support of our program. It would be difficult to overstate how much we value your partnership and support. Another important group to thank tonight is our aircraft maintainers. With over 200 aircraft on the ramp, we depend on them to keep us flying safely nearly 250 sorties a day. And their 550-person M1 contract maintenance team does a great job, whether working in backshops or on the ramp, regardless of the Texas weather, keeping some of the oldest aircraft in the inventory flying safely. So thanks to Chris Simpson tonight for attending, for your leadership, and for representing the M1 team tonight. We also need to thank our NJEP staff, both at the wing and at the operations group led by Colonel Jan Voisdan. Our air traffic controllers, our aerospace physiologists, our air crew flight equipment technicians, the weather shop, the RAWS team, the SARMs, the small computer shop, the commander support staff, along with our wing staff, all work together to support our flying mission in 100 different ways. And a huge thank you tonight to our instructors, many of whom are in the crowd, who pour out their heart and soul into our students day in and day out, often flying multiple times per day and on weekends. They are the linchpin to getting our students across the finish line. They've transformed officers with little to no aviation experience into proficient military aviators, capable of piloting high-speed aircraft in bad weather, at low altitude, through aerobatics, in four-ship formations, ready to become combat aviators, and soon to be ready to defend the NATO Alliance. Thank you for your hard work, IPs, and your commitment to excellence. It's also important to acknowledge those who helped our graduates tonight to get here in the first place. The parents, the families, the friends, the spouses. It's rare that someone accomplishes great things without a foundation of support enabling their success. Thank you for encouraging these graduates to serve their nations. And thank you for providing a launching pad for their service, supporting them and encouraging them along the way. So parents, friends, family, you should be proud of the leaders and aviators that will stand before you here tonight. Thank you for providing us with budding leaders willing to serve their nations. And finally, most importantly, to Class 2405. What a great night. You've worked hard and waited a long time for this moment. Tonight is a night you won't forget. Over the last 24 years, some of my memories have faded a bit, but I still clearly remember my NJET graduation. It was a big moment, and tonight it's your turn. We're all here to recognize a milestone in your aviation career, so take a moment and make sure you savor the evening. As you do, know that this is only the beginning. You'll have incredible experiences as your career takes you on adventures all over the world. And you'll face challenges along the way as you work to prepare your Air Force and NATO to face the complex challenges of the future. The things you've learned here and the grit and determination you've shown will serve you well as you face whatever challenges lie in your path. And as you do, remember, You didn't get here alone, but you stood on the shoulders of the parents, the friends, the loved ones who supported you, the support personnel who enabled your training, and the instructors who shared their experiences with you. So remember this and stay humble, despite your accomplishments. And don't forget to stop and thank those who helped you get here and continue to support you along the way. And lastly, don't ever stop striving to be the best at your job. Don't ever be satisfied with good enough. Our enemies are constantly working to exploit our weaknesses, and you should be determined to be more trained and better prepared than they are when you face them in combat, especially when your life and the life of your wingmen depend on it. Thank you for your hard work, your dedication, and everything you've shown to get this far. Keep it up. Congratulations, and I'm very proud of you. And with that, it is now my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker tonight, Group Captain Roger Elliott. Group Captain Elliott began his career in the Armed Forces in 1996 after graduating from a university cadetship at the University of Manchester Institute of Science and Technology in the UK. He initially flew the Hawk, who later flew the Jaguar, and eventually converted to the Typhoon. He flew missions over Libya. He trained Royal Saudi Air Force pilots and participated in air policing operations for the London Olympics. He's a graduate of the Advanced Command and Staff course at the Defense Academy and has commanded at multiple levels. Special leadership assignments include the director of the UK Joint Force Air Component Headquarters in LUD and the head of Joint Effects at the Standing Joint Force Headquarters in Northwood. Currently, he's the head of the USA Division for the Air and Space Warfare Center, the Royal Air Force's research and testing organization responsible for developing and implementing operational and tactical air doctrine. Please join me in welcoming Group Captain Elliott.
Okay, thank you very much for that lovely introduction. This is a speech that your commanding officer has just given you. So I'm going to have to cuff it to a certain extent and just tell you some stories instead, but I'll refer to that as we go on. Colonel Cope, members of 80th Fighter Training Wing, and distinguished visitors who are mostly in that sway as I look at you now, because you are the friends and family. And most importantly, Class 2405. After that wonderful introduction, my name is Roger. You're not going to remember anything else about me, that doesn't really matter. You don't know me, and unless you've had the joy of coming to Red Flag in the last couple of years and sitting in Red Flag, hammering out COBOL cards on the computer, then you don't know me either. But again, that doesn't matter. Until today, the only thing that I knew about Shepherd Air Force Base was that it had 3 runways. And I remember that from my first assignment flying the Hawk with a pilot called Flight Lieutenant Shepherd, who had come through NJEP2. And he described that there was one runway on the left with a closed pattern going to the left. There was one runway on the right with a closed pattern going to the right. And there was one runway in the middle for instrument landings. That's the only thing that I knew until I came here today. Now you can tell that I didn't know anything about today because I kind of imagined that what would happen was that we'd have a welcoming, a speech from your commanding officer, and then I'd kind of go on safari, maybe over here, and I'd talk to you guys, and I'd then look at you guys, the distinguished visitors, and I'd kind of do that. But just like every Brit, I completely failed to understand how big everything in America is. So I'm afraid I'm going to come back in. But I might find out that this works and I might still go on safari. None of that matters, because to me, today is really only about one thing, and it's only about belonging. So the reason that I'm here, and the reason that the only thing that my name Roger matters, is because it's about belonging. And I think, from my perspective, that today marks the journey from you belonging to your distinguished visitors, and you, with me, belonging to be a military pilot. As we say in the UK, you now belong to the club of the 2-winged master race. You used to belong to these guys. And I don't mean to be scary, of course you still belong to these guys, your distinguished visitors. But for me, today definitely marks You're transferring from what you were doing before to now being part of the club that we belong to, that these guys belong to, that loads of people in these audiences belong to, and to which you have aspired to and worked for the last 5, 6, 7 years. And so I think that's what today's about. And I don't want to make it scary, but it's definitely about belonging. So I'll talk to the people you belong to, and that's why you're important to me. And I'll also talk to the instructors, because that's who is important. But I didn't bring my notes, so I've got to go back in. So previously, Colonel Cope talked about the great work that the instructors have done, and also the great work that your distinguished visitors have done. No doubt, for some of you, they've funded your dreams, they've supported your dreams, and they've certainly got you to the place that you are now, and supported you all the way through. And also those wonderful sponsors that I've met earlier today, those are definitely included in there as well. But I also fundamentally believe that great pilots are made, they're not born. You, probably you, definitely, is this good eyesight? There's some great moustaches here as well, but that doesn't count. You may have sensitive hands, you might have the best awareness of what's going on in the world, you might have the best 3D awareness of what's going on in the airspace, but you were not born to be a pilot. You were made to be a pilot by people over there, people sat back here, and other people in the audience. It's not something you're born to, but it's something that you work hard at, and it's something that people make you do as well. So we'll refer to that a little bit, hopefully with some funny bits as we go along. Because you have spent 18 months working all hours that God sends, and 18 months getting that knowledge into practice. For a Brit from the Royal Air Force, going flying and doing flying training at the weekend, that's a bit of an unknown. That's really unknown territory. We wouldn't do that. But you've spent 18 months doing that, and the faculty staff here have spent 18 months doing that for you. But you've also come to understand by now that that 18 months of hard work here, that is definitely not the end. You know beyond shadow of a doubt that really it's just the end of the beginning, and your hard work continues. And trust me, it continues for the rest of your flipping career, and you will all be great at it. Whether you become a flying instructor, whether you become a test pilot, whether you become a weapons officer, that hard work will always continue, and you will never stop practicing, and you will never stop learning from the people that you're around. There will always be someone better than you, there will always be someone who knows more, can lead better, can do more, has done more missions. But you will always keep practicing and learning from that. What does change though, as I mentioned before, win. For you guys in the USAF, that's part of your Airman's Creed. And today marks the start of that transition from combat capability starts here to fly, fight, win. Because let's be honest, whether you go to Holloman, whether you're going to Cold Lake, whether you're going to Lager, whether you're going to Coningsby, well, for those who go to Coningsby, very close to the mission is still going to be the same. Fly, fight, win. And you all know that that mission is more proximate and closer to you than it ever has been before. Whether you're in the United States Air Force and you're focused very much on the Pacific, or whether you're European nations and you're going to spend the next decades of your life flying in Eastern Europe or flying over the Baltic Sea or flying over the Mediterranean in support of other NATO allies. You know that mission is more proximity. And so please, as you're reflecting on what a great day this is, but also look forward and then taking those skills that you've learned here and focus them forward. Today is really special. It's about your instructors, it's about your family and friends, it's also about you, and it's about you making that transition. It's good. Just indulge me for 3 things while I talk to you about 3 things. And unfortunately, your commanding officer has said most of these already, so I might have to pad this a bit with some honesty. The first is, and this is what I always used to say to every pilot who arrived on my school, is be the best fighter pilot you can be. Be the best fighter pilot you can be, which you're going to be. You have come from your countries and you've come here to Shepherd. You've had the best possible start that you could. Like genuinely, look around you, look at all the support you get. You wouldn't get that in your own country. You've got the best possible start. Take that and please be the best possible flight spot you can be. All of those quick duties, all of the being the snacko, all of the being the entertainment officer, being the media officer, those will continue, and those are just parts of life. But please take everything you've got here and continue to work to be the best you possibly can be. As part of that, learn from each other. My first flight in a fighter was in a Portuguese F-16A from Monteria. Amazing. 25 years ago. Absolutely amazing. In an A, I had no idea what was going on. The extremely brilliant Portuguese fighter pilot who was flying me in the F-16A spoke Portuguese for the entire sortie. We were part of a 3 ship. I'd never flown an aircraft with a radar before. And for those of you who, I'm sure you're talking to you guys now, I'm sure that your beloved down here might have explained that when you fly with American equipment, you have to fly with ear protection because it gets very loud. I didn't take ear protection, couldn't hear anything that was going on, it was all in Portuguese, didn't understand what was going on. I've been taking part in that exercise for 2 weeks until that flight in Mexico, but I knew nothing about what was going on. But I learned. And by the time I came back and I met that same squadron pilot again, a year later, I knew exactly what was going on with the F-16. I knew exactly what the bars on either side of the track meant and how he was using the radar, and it was a fantastic opportunity. You will have those, and you're going to do that in your course. You will learn much more than I did. The second thing that you're going to learn from each other is who's going to Cold Lake. To fly Hornet, you're going to fly the F-35. Who's going to Montreal? To fly the Falcon, you're going to fly F-35. Who's going to Coventry?
Heck yeah.
You're going to fly Typhoon. Who's going to Holland? You're going to fly F-35. You are part of that community, and you talk about this with extraordinarily. You are part of that community of F-35 dudes. And German guys as well going to Lager, you're going to go fly Typhoon. Happy days, but some of you are going to go fly F-35. A lot of my work with the New South Warfare Centre, and a lot of the work with the Brits who are over here, is with F-35. I don't want to bang on about F-35, but if you're going already, you're going to have a great time. If you're not going straight away, you're going to be going, and you're going to see part of that, or you're going to be fighting with it, and you're going to understand it. It is a very complicated aircraft, but no one ever looks out the window, so you're never going to be told off by an instructor again if you're a lookout. The third people to learn from is the Ukrainians. So think about where you've been for the last year and a half, where we are, where you're going back to at the end of your IFF. You are going to be either, your countries are either going to be teaching Ukrainians or you're going to be learning from them. And those guys are right on the edge, learning about what's happening in a contested air environment and learning how to cope in a contested air environment. It might be completely different to anything that you've ever done before, but let's face it, that low-level flying video, who was doing that? Was it? No. So that's what the Ukrainians are doing. The Ukrainians are doing that day in, day out, trying to evade the Soviet surface defense. So learn from them. Learn how to deploy your weapon systems as best you can. And I'm sure you'll do it. Right, the second bit, and this is not what Camco said. I think be anxious. I genuinely think be anxious. Be anxious about your preparation. Be anxious about your ability. But for goodness sake, don't show that to anyone. Do not show anyone. You are a 2-winged master race. These people have made you into a 2-winged master race. Don't show anyone you're anxious, but please be anxious about everything that you do. You've proved here that you can do it. Colonel Cope has said to you and to all of these people how proud he is of you. And he's proud of you because of the effort you put in, the work you put in. And you've done everything you can to show the instructors and show yourself how good you are. Keep being anxious, please, and keep showing everyone how good you are. And then finally, it's a team sport. So I'm going to repeat the absolute obvious. It is a team sport. You hardly need reminding that there's 1,500 people on space who support you every day. Tom Wolfe, in his brilliant book, The Right Stuff. Anyone read The Right Stuff? Nods. Right, you can put your hand up. So, read The Right Stuff. There's an amazing bit in The Right Stuff, The Pyramid of Righteousness. Everyone heard of The Pyramid of Righteousness? Read the book. Really. Who sits at the top of the pyramid of righteousness?
Digging back in memory banks.
Too late. Who sits at the top of the pyramid of righteousness?
Astronauts.
Astronauts sit at the top of the pyramid of righteousness. Anyone know who sits underneath astronauts in the pyramid of righteousness? Test pilots. It's wrong, but it's test pilots. You guys now sit underneath test pilots as fighter pilots. You sit underneath graduates, fantastic pilots who will join the NATO Alliance and will fly fighters for hopefully a very long and distinguished career. You guys, distinguished visitors, my thanks to you for nurturing these people, bringing them on, encouraging them, flying all the way to Texas for their graduations to congratulate them. But my thanks to you for keeping them on the straight and narrow and for making sure that they got here. And then I would like to say as well, we'll take it from here, but you know that we won't take it from here. You know that we'll go up and down and we'll always be part of their journey. But finally, to you guys, my congratulations to you. My absolute congratulations to you. If I was in your shoes, I would be wishing that I could swap the next year around. I would be wishing that I was at the end of my Introduction to Fighter Fundamentals course. I would be wishing that I was at the end of my F-22 conversion course. I would absolutely be wishing that I'd done all those, and that tonight marked the end of my conversion to time when I was going straight to the front lines. I would be wishing. But I'm not you. And from here, looking at you guys, seeing what you've done, and seeing what happens at Shepherd here, and seeing what's in front of you, I wish that I was where you are, about to do it all again. And I absolutely wish that my dad was coming up on stage to pin my wings onto me, which I think is about to happen. Congratulations to you all, and thank you very much for having me today.
Class leader, please come forward at this time. Group Captain Elliott, thank you for your support and words of wisdom. On behalf of Class 2405, I'd like to present you with this Jurassic mosquito. Wichita Falls is an amazing community, and as a way of showing our gratitude for the support we received from that community over the past year, Class 2405 went on a volunteer project with the Center for Animal Research and Education. We provided over 100 hours of landscaping and covering of these lions and tiger enclosures. We winterized a lemur enclosure, and we also reinforced some fencing between the animals to keep the animals safe, the guests safe, and employees safe. This project was made possible with the help of Derek and Heidi down at CARE, and Gary Valdata, a T38 semi-P here, and a CARE board member who'd love to chat more about that. Thank you, Wichita Falls. And as it's been mentioned multiple times, there's been so many SIM-IPs, T6 IPs, T38 IPs that got us to this moment, and we'd like to just recognize a few of the most valuable instructor pilots over the last year. And so IPs, please stand to be recognized when your name is called. For the simulator phase, T6s, Miss Melissa Nelson. For the simulator phase, T38s, Mr. Matthew Bruckner. For the T6 phase from G Flight, Captain John Mark Connolly.
Days H Flight, Captain Michael Reed.
Today marks the end of undergraduate pilot training at NJEP for the senior class. Again, friends and family, without your unwavering guidance, love, and support, these young graduates wouldn't be here tonight. That being said, this is your ceremony. Please feel free to come forward at any time to take photos of your graduate while they are on stage. During this past year at Shepherd, many of you in the audience contributed to Class 2405 success, including our academic instructors in the classroom, numerous support personnel who got them airborne, and the fearless instructor pilots who flew with them on a daily basis. It certainly was a team effort. Representing Class 2405 tonight are two of NJEP's finest instructor pilots to date, Lieutenant Colonel Derek Kolbath of the United States Air Force and Captain Gerrit Lütkemeyer of the German Air Force. I will now turn the program over to them for the highly anticipated presentation of the wings.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Jungle Flight, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Derek Kolbath of the 80th OSS Wizards.
And on behalf of National Flight, I'm Captain Gerrit Lütkemeyer of the 469th Fighting Bulls. Charge! As these officers take center stage tonight and receive their wings, they make an important transition. They lose the status of student pilot.
Colonel Cook will present the aeronautical certificate to each graduate, which will be followed by acknowledgement by Group Captain Elliott as they exit the stage. Graduates of 2405, please come forward. First Lieutenant Dylan Jameson Alexander. Lieutenant Alexander is from Chadwick, Illinois. His instructor pilots were Captain Michael Reed and Captain Aaron Ickok. Lieutenant Alexander's wings will be pinned on by his flight commander, Captain Aaron Ickok, who received his wings from Shepherd Air Force Base in 2018. Lieutenant Alexander will be headed to Holloman Air Force Base to fly the F-16.
That didn't last long. Let's get a picture.
First Lieutenant Spencer Brown. Lieutenant Brown is from Arlington, Virginia. His instructor pilots were Captain Michael Reed and Lieutenant Colonel Tyler Stife. Lieutenant Brown's wings will be pinned on by his flight commander, Captain Aaron Ickok, who received his wings from Shepherd Air Force Base in 2018. Lieutenant Brown will be headed to Davis-Montcalm Air Force Base to fly the A-10.
Attack!
Captain Kyle Haig. Captain Haig is from Okemos, Michigan. His instructor pilots were Captain Will Perry and Captain Aaron Ickok. Captain Haig's wings will be pinned on by his mentor, Captain Caitlin Cook, who received her wings from Vance Air Force Base in 2021. Captain Haig will be headed to Holloman Air Force Base to fly the F-16. Lieutenant James from Ottawa, Ontario. His instructor pilots were First Lieutenant James Bovenkirk and Captain Joris Watershoe. Lieutenant James' wings will be pinned on by his SNR, Major Clinton Bonus in 2008. CF-18. First Lieutenant William Nicholson. Lieutenant Nicholson is from Alexandria, Virginia. His instructor pilots were First Lieutenant John Mark Connolly and Lieutenant Dennis Hutchins. Lieutenant Nicholson's wings will be pinned on by his father, Lieutenant Colonel retired Carl Nicholson, who received his wings from Laughlin Air Force Base in 1987. Lieutenant Nicholson will be staying at Shepherd Air Force Base to fly the T-6. First Lieutenant Alexander Presley. Pilots were Captain John Mark Conley and Lieutenant Colonel Tyler Steph. Lieutenant Presley's wings will be pinned on by his MTO, Captain Sam Escobedo, who received his wings from Vance Air Force Base in 2017. Lieutenant Presley will be headed to Davis-Montcalm Air Force Base to fly the A-10.
Tap.
He headed to Eglin Air Force Base.
2010. Captain Lohmeyer and Captain Lütkemeyer. His instructor pilots were Aeronautic Major. SNR Squadron Leader Guy Gibbons, Florian Hiller. The pilots of First Lieutenant Will Perry. Flight Lieutenant Thompson's wing.
Program. Some officers. Check rides. Jet as an officer and representative. An award also most outstanding performance in the formation. John Coke will present the award.